You are given such a wonderful freedom in Ghost of Tsushima, and while this is a great thing, it can be difficult to know where to start and how to prioritise things to do. If you simply go charging towards the horizon half-cocked, then you will likely pay the price when you happen by a group of Mongols or come across a bear that will destroy you. When you start the game, you lack a lot of essential abilities and don't have the luxury of foresight, unless you know the game very well. So today I want to give those PC gamers a heads up for those playing for the first time, based on my experience playing the base game on PS4 and the Director's Cut on PS5. Hello, I'm Heather, and here are 5 things that you must do first in Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima has an impressive prologue that sees Jin sneaking his way through Komoda town, watching the chaos unfold following the Mongols' victory over the samurai at Komoda Beach. You first meet an unashamed thief called Yuna who nursed Jin back to health and gently nudges him away from his samurai values and techniques that failed to quell the Mongol invasion.
I'm going to repay his kindness.
By repeating the same mistakes that got your friends killed.
You stick with Yuna, who acts as your guide and shows you the gameplay basics until there is an epic ride-out sequence with the title screen and credits, which always gives me goosebumps. Now the reins are off and you are free to do whatever you like. However, you will quickly discover that galloping off into the Izuhara region horizon unprepared will have dire consequences. The best thing to do first is to stay on the path with Yuna and complete the Warriors Cod main quest first. Select the Warriors Cod on the world map and literally go where the wind takes you. The reason for this is that this quest, which entails clearing out a Mongol camp and searching for Yuna's brother, unlocks the focused hearing ability and assassination. These are both core gameplay mechanics in what is intended to be a stealth-heavy open-world RPG. Focused hearing highlights enemies and things in the environment that you can use in combat, such as explosive barrels and beehives. It's an essential ability for infiltration, strategy, and getting a lay of the land before barreling in and getting Mongol hostages killed. The ability to assassinate enemies from a stealth position is an effortless way to trim the Mongol herd. You can hide in pampas grass and kill an enemy in a single strike from behind or strike from above. Sadly, there isn't an option to pick up and hide corpses like there is in Assassin's Creed, which does give the game away sometimes. However, providing you remain unseen, you can just assassinate any enemies that come to investigate. Later on in the game, you can unlock chain assassination as a skill, so you can assassinate more than one enemy in quick succession. Executing this is my absolute favourite thing to do. So, of course, these 2 abilities are crucial for what lies ahead, as is the next essential location you should set a course for.
The Khan expects to fight a war against the samurai. He will anticipate our every move, unless we find new ways to surprise him.
After completing the Warriors Cod quest with Yuna, it is wise to head straight to Hioshi Springs, which can be found near the quest marker for Sensei Ishikawa. At Hioshi Springs you can find a variety of merchants, and the first merchant you speak to gives you the Traveller's Attire to replace your broken armour. Although this armour has no combat related perks, it does have unique effects that aid exploration and finding collectibles. When equipped, the Traveller's Attire increases the radius at which fog disperses on the map, grants the ability to use the guiding wind to track artefacts, and enables controller vibration when the artifact is within range. While visiting Hioshi Springs, you should speak to people to learn new things about how the world works and gain some side quests or other notable points of interest through hearsay. Be sure to thoroughly look around, as there is a lot to gain from Hioshi Springs and lots of stuff to loot. Next, you want to head to Sensei Ishikawa's dojo, which is nearby, and an NPC will escort you. This essential next stop is where you get your half bow that serves as your primary ranged weapon. After you join Ishikawa in his hunt for his AWOL archery student, Ishikawa tests your archery skills and then gives you the bow. You then head to a Mongol camp where you have to survey the area and formulate a plan of attack. I'm not going to lie, this part is quite a challenge. All combat early game feels like a challenge since your Traveller's Attire provides very little defence, but you do get a great idea of what to expect and the level of difficulty. Bit of advice: Always go for the archers first, or anyone else launching any form of throwable projectiles. Just run straight past all the foot soldiers if you have to, climb up a ladder on a rooftop yourself and take them down ASAP. You should ideally do this in most combat scenarios because archers be pesky. After the threat of arrows raining down on you has gone, you can focus on the swordsmen and brutes. Take them down with either arrows or by using a well-timed parry or dodge followed by a counter-attack, since you are currently limited to a single combat stance. So, now that you have unlocked focused hearing, assassination, and gained your traveller's attire and half-bow, let's focus on getting stronger. No doubt you feel weak and pitiful after the last encounter. Ishikawa advises you to seek out Lady Masako at the Adachi estate, and that is exactly what we plan to do next, for one very important reason.
Dead for days.
Masako does not story lock you at first. She merely escorts you to the Golden Temple, which will primarily serve as your Act 1 base camp. Golden Temple is where you will find a bowyer, a swordsmith, a merchant, an armourer, and a gift altar where contributions are frequently made to your cause as your legend grows. When you arrive, Masako will tell you that you can keep the samurai clan armour that she is currently having repaired by the armourer, and to meet her on the opposite side of the temple, but her revenge mission can wait for now. The samurai clan armour focuses on enduring hits and generating resolve, which is needed to restore health and perform special techniques. A fully upgraded samurai clan armour reduces all damage by a major amount, grants a massive increase to health, and makes it so that taking damage grants 30% resolve. This armour is ideal for beginners still adapting to the combat mechanics. You can also pick up a few side quests here, loot resources, and take a peek at what the traders have on offer to gain a sense of the kind of resources you might need to upgrade your gear. During your travels, you may have already gathered quite a few supplies and resources, so now is the time to spend them and upgrade. Gaining the samurai clan armour is the game's way of telling you that resolve is important, and so is your health. Therefore, you next want to unlock the Wind of Health and the Wind of Resolve. You will have come across a hot spring and a bamboo strike at Hioshi Springs, providing you spoke to people, and now it is a good time to actively seek them out. The Wind of Health will lead you to hot springs that will increase your health bar, and the Wind of Resolve will lead you to bamboo strikes that will increase your resolve. Be sure to equip your traveller's attire because doing this will not only increase your base stats, but it will take you around the map unveiling new points of interest as the fog dissipates, whilst giving you a chance to collect supplies and resources. Note that you will need to spend 2 technique points to unlock the resolve and health guiding wind abilities. So, if you don't have the points, you can just leave the temple and scout for some travelling Mongols to kill. You won't be searching for long. After visiting the Golden Temple, you may have noted that in order to upgrade your gear, you need to stock up on a lot of supplies, predator hides, leather, bamboo, iron, linen, and other. But before you do this, gallop to Arrow Peak Shrine, which is north of Sakimori Overlook, on a high peak with burned bridges. Here you will find the Charm of Inari, which will increase the amount of supplies, predator hides, bamboo, and yew wood that Jin collects. This is a lifesaver. Equipping this charm speeds up the process of upgrading gear, and although it may seem like a bit of a trek from the Gold Temple, it's 100% worth it. Once you have the Charm of Inari, it's time to go hunting. Admittedly, the resources and predators in this game seem scarce, unless you know where to look and what exactly you are looking for. Lootable resources and supplies, which looks like coin pouches, have a subtle glimmer on them and are easier to spot when stationary. Bamboo, supplies and flowers can be found all over the world in great abundance, so you can pick them up as you travel from point A to point B. You can find linen and iron primarily in settlements and by ransacking Mongol camps. It's definitely worth targeting small camps to gain metals at least, and you can use this as an excuse to practice your combat strategy. Anyways, predator hides are perhaps the rarest, yet strangely common, resource needed to upgrade important gear. Hides can be gained from looting fallen bears, boars and Mongol dogs. So you can either gallop around forests and lakes searching for packs of 3 or 4 boars to shoot with arrows from horseback for 2 hides apiece, or you can use a tried and true farming method to get an infinite supply of predator hides. Personally, I choose the latter. Simply head to Cloud Pass in Izuhara and locate a small Mongol camp called Rushing Water Crossing. Every time you fast travel to this camp, a scripted event will occur. 2 bears will attack the camp, and once defeated they drop 5 predator hides each. Since this event is scripted, it happens every time you fast travel there, providing you don't liberate the camp. So you can just keep fast travelling in, looting the bear corpses, and fast travelling out again. Don't you just love a good gaming exploit? The next thing you can do is entirely optional, and that's honour the shrines. There are 2 kinds of shrines. The first are Inari shrines that can be found by following foxes, and these shrines increase the amount of charms that can be equipped. The second are Shinto shrines, which are where charms can be found. Some Shinto shrines require tools you gain later on in the game to reach, but some are easily accessible after a short climb. This is why I personally prefer to hold off on actively seeking out the shrines, since some are awarded for quests anyway. But I will complete them if I happen by one. The shrines can be done at any point, except Arrow Peak Shrine, that contains the important charm of Inari. Charms can be equipped to armour sets to produce a variety of effects. I won't go into detail about the charms, but some of them can be game changing, especially later on. Next up, we definitely want to focus on unlocking some combat stances, particularly if you prefer to adopt a warrior playstyle. Some people will advise you to do this first thing, but what they really mean is first thing after doing all the other stuff I've just outlined. The combat stances are excellent and enable you to take on different kinds of foes. By now, you will have likely encountered all 4 types of Mongol foes: swordsmen, shieldmen, spearmen and brutes. There are 4 combat stances in the game, which are effective against each type of enemy, enabling Jin to hold his sword differently to produce more stagger. The stone stance is automatically unlocked and is most effective against swordsmen. Water stance is very effective against shieldmen, wind stance is perfect against spearmen, and moon stance is effective against brutes with heavy weapons. You ideally at least want to unlock the water stance in Act 1. You will feel the difference in combat almost immediately when you use water stance against an enemy with a shield instead of the stone stance, which is designed for swordsmen. Combat stances can be unlocked by observing or killing Mongol leaders. While it is possible to gain a point towards unlocking a new stance by killing the Mongol leader, you can gain an additional point just by observing the leader first. You only need 3 points to unlock the water stance, and if you are unprepared for battle, then you can just scout the camp, find the right position to stalk the leader, which is often a patch of nearby pampas grass or a gap in the fencing, observe the leader and then run away. You can always return later. Mongol leaders are identifiable by their armour, which is often heavier and shinier than the other Mongols at the camp. Leaders can often be found separate from the rest of the crew, practicing their sword play. You can, of course, work towards unlocking more stances early on, but if you unlock the kunai as your first ghost weapon, then you can easily get by without the other stances this early in the game. The kunai can be thrown at enemies to stagger them, giving you a few seconds to attack, which is more often than not enough time to defeat them. So there we have it. There's 5 things that I believe you should definitely do first in Ghost of Tsushima. I know that this video was actually like 20 things to do first, wrapped up in a list of 5, but oh well. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos on Ghost of Tsushima, because I actually am quite the expert if I do say so myself. Anyways, thank you all so much for your ongoing support with the channel, and be sure to subscribe because it really does help us grow. I've been Heather, this is Amalgamingle, and thank you very much for watching.